Did you know that a single decision on tariffs can instantly change the price of your groceries, your car, and even your job security? The recent tariffs introduced by President Trump weren't just political moves, they were game changers. They shook the foundations of global trade, redefined America's relationship with the rest of the world, and sent a ripple effect straight into the everyday lives of people like you and like me. What once felt like a distant policy debate suddenly hit home, at the checkout counter, on the factory floors, and in household budgets. Tariffs stopped being just a headline. They became a daily reality we could all feel. Today, we're diving deep into how US tariffs are not only affecting the economy at large, but are quietly impacting your life, your job, and possibly your future. So, what exactly are tariffs? Tariffs are essentially taxes that the government imposes on imported goods. Imagine you're shopping for a new German car. Normally, you would pay the regular price. But with the tariff in place, that same car could cost thousands of dollars more. The extra money doesn't go to the car maker either. It goes to the government. The goal behind this strategy? To encourage people to buy American-based products instead, supporting domestic businesses and protecting American jobs. At least, that's the working theory. The US government argues that tariffs can revive struggling industries, rebuild American manufacturing, and create fairer trade relationships. Now, on paper, it does sound like a win for American workers and businesses. But the real-world impact? It's far more complicated. Now, while some industries might benefit from reduced competition, others are suffering badly. When foreign foods become more expensive, it's no longer just luxury cars or electronics that are affected. It's the basic materials that many American businesses rely on. Components for manufacturing, raw materials for construction, even everyday agricultural products can become significantly pricier. For example, if a US factory needs steel from abroad to build machinery, and that steel now costs 25% more due to tariffs, that added expense throws off the entire production budget. And when businesses are forced to pay more, they don't just absorb the cost, they pass it down the line. And the result? Prices go up. Household budgets, they get tighter. A refrigerator that once cost you only $800 is now selling for $950. Groceries tick up week after week, and for families who are already living paycheck to paycheck, that extra strain is no small matter. The pressure builds, not just on the wallets, but on businesses trying to stay afloat and on workers whose jobs may be at risk if demand starts to fall. Take small businesses, for example. A family-owned furniture company might import wood, screws, or fabrics from overseas. And if these materials suddenly get hit with a 25% tariff, the cost of production skyrockets almost overnight. The business owner faces a tough decision: raise prices and risk losing loyal customers who can no longer afford this price hike, or absorb the cost and watch hard-earned profits slowly fade away. Neither option is really sustainable in the long run, and it's not just numbers on a spreadsheet. It is personal. It means working longer hours to make up the difference. It means delaying plans to hire new employees, cutting back on marketing, or even letting go of workers who have been with the company for years. In some cases, it forces families to take out loans, dip into their savings, or, in the worst cases, close their doors altogether. Farmers were hit especially hard. Many American farmers depend very heavily on exports, selling soybeans, corn, wheat, and other goods to overseas markets. Farming isn't just about growing crops, though. It's about timing, contracts, and delicate international relationships built over years. But when the US imposed tariffs, countries like China retaliated with their own tariffs on American agricultural products. Suddenly, farmers who had steady, reliable buyers saw demand plummet almost overnight. Crops that were once meant for busy foreign markets sat unused in storage in warehouses. Fields were full, but the buyers were gone. Prices for key crops like soybeans dropped dramatically, sometimes by as much as 20% or more. For many farmers already operating on extremely tight budgets, this wasn't just a bad season, it was a financial disaster. Some farmers had to destroy crops that they couldn't sell. Others scrambled to find alternative markets, often settling for far lower prices just to survive. Many were forced to take out emergency loans to cover operating costs, and a heartbreaking number faced losing their farms altogether. Generations-old family farms, passed down through blood, sweat, and sacrifice, were lost in a matter of months. And it's not just farmers. Industries like automotive, tech, and retail, which rely on global supply chains, faced even higher costs and reduced demand. Some companies responded by cutting jobs. Others froze hiring or moved production facilities to other countries in order to avoid the tariffs altogether. The very jobs tariffs were supposed to protect, many of them disappeared instead. Meanwhile, everyday Americans started to feel the squeeze at the cash register. Groceries cost more, cars cost more, electronics cost more. Even simple things like washing machines, clothing, and children's toys saw price hikes. For a middle-class family already juggling rising healthcare, housing, and educational costs, these hidden increases made life even tougher. Looking ahead, the impact of tariffs could stretch far into the future. Economists warn that continued trade wars could slow down overall economic growth, cause some long-term damage to international relationships, and discourage companies from investing in innovation. Businesses, they hate uncertainty, and tariffs create a lot of it. If companies can't predict future costs, then they're less likely to invest in new technologies, expand their operations, or hire more workers. Recent studies underscore these concerns. According to research from Yale's Budget Lab, the tariffs enforced in 2025 are projected to reduce U.S. real GDP growth by 0.9 percentage points in the short term and by 0.6% annually in the long term, equating to approximately $160 billion less in economic output each year. Additionally, the Federal Reserve has highlighted that uncertainty about tariffs has become pervasive in the economy, affecting business planning and investment decisions. These statistics paint a clear picture. The ripple effects of tariffs extend beyond immediate price increases, influencing the broader economic landscape and business confidence. The global economy is a web. Pull on one thread too hard, and the whole system feels it. Trade is no longer a luxury for the US economy. It's a necessity. Retaliatory tariffs from other countries don't just hurt big corporations. They impact small towns, middle-class families, and young workers trying to start their careers. In the end, tariffs are kind of like a double-edged sword. Sure, they might offer temporary protection, but it comes at a very steep price. In attempting to shield American industries, there's a risk of isolation from global opportunities and burdening the very people that the policy aimed to protect. So, with all these challenges, what can we do to prepare and minimize the risk during these tariff-driven times? Well, the good news is there are ways to adapt, both for businesses and individuals. First, businesses can diversify their supply chains. Instead of relying too heavily on a single country for a raw material, companies can explore suppliers in multiple regions. For instance, if a US manufacturer of electronics relies on Chinese components, well, they could consider sourcing from other countries like Mexico or Canada in order to avoid the high tariffs. This creates a safety net just in case tariffs on one country increase. Another way businesses can prepare is by investing in automation and improving efficiency. Tariffs make it much more expensive to import goods, but if a company can produce more goods in-house or streamline their operations, they reduce the financial strain. For example, a small clothing manufacturer might invest in technology that speeds up production, allowing them to absorb the tariff costs without raising prices for consumers. On the individual level, staying informed and flexible is key. Consumers should be aware of which products are impacted by tariffs. If a certain product becomes more expensive, it might be worth exploring alternatives or waiting for prices to stabilize. For instance, if you're looking to buy a new car and tariffs on foreign vehicles rise, consider exploring domestic models or looking for deals during promotional seasons. Apart from that, long-term planning is essential. The more you can save and create a buffer for potential price increases, the better prepared that you'll be. It might mean cutting back on non-essential spending or investing in skills that make you more adaptable to changes in the job market. But as the global trade environment continues to evolve, it is crucial for businesses and individuals to stay both informed and adaptable. While tariffs may offer temporary protection, the long-term consequences could affect not just global markets, but our everyday lives. It's important to understand these impacts and be able to plan accordingly. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to the Learn It All YouTube channel for more insightful content on business, finance, global issue, or even artificial intelligence. You can also follow us on our official LinkedIn page for updates and discussions. And hey, want to be a part of a community that shares and supports your journey? Join our Discord group. The link is down in the description below. And with that, thank you for watching. We'll see you in another video. Signing off from LIA.